going on, world? It's the KayFabeyBaby NRW Ring Generals podcast. I am Kuya P, and I'm here with the trios. What is the trios thing at AEW right now?
It's trios tag team champions.
Trios, okay, I got my trios tag team partners.
The House of Black.
And Shawn Mongold. How are you, Shawn?
Hey, I'm feeling great. Loving some wrestling.
Yes, sir.
Ready to go.
And of course, WebsterStyle, the man, the fragrance. I'm messing your thing up, bro. What is it?
All good. I'm good. Ready to talk some wrestling.
All right. We are coming off of the heels of AEW Revolution as of this recording. I paid the $50 down to watch it. I was trying to find the secret pass right before it was Shawn, but he was like, brother, you just pay the shit. And so I ended up doing it. My first ever AEW pay-per-view. Because I was telling him, like, dude, I haven't bought a pay-per-view in a minute. Like, I have the Peacock subscription, so I don't have to worry about that with WWE. But like, I've never like bought other stuff. Like, I've been to other AEW events, but it was at somebody else's house, so I didn't have to pay for it. Yeah. And or there's like, a secret, Illuminati site.
Yeah, secret tunnel.
Yeah, and you go that route. But I was a good boy. Paid the $50, and so let's talk a little bit about Revolution and just some of the other things that are happening in the world of wrestling. What was your first thing coming off? Why did you really want to see Revolution, Shawn?
Man, and kind of to kick it back to your point about the whole pay-per-view thing, man. I mean, pay-per-views to me are very, like, especially that way, is just nostalgic, right? Like Peacock, like I got Peacock, and you can turn it on. It feels, like, we're waiting for Last of Us to come on, and it's a new thing. It's every month, and you don't really got to pay. I mean, you pay monthly, but you don't really got to pay anything. Like, I just remember the old school days of like begging my dad to pay the $50, $60, whatever it was, for all the WWE, WWF back in the day pay-per-view. So it was, and then I'd sit down and watch it. My parents would watch with me. Sometimes my dad would, but my mom would always watch with me. So it's just very nostalgic about going to like pay-per-view section and, clicking and being like, shit, $49.99 or whatever it is. But like, now I gotta convince my parents. I can just do it myself, but it's still nostalgic. I love that. But anyway, the thing I was looking forward to about Revolution, actually, I wasn't really that, like, I wasn't as hyped as I thought it would be for Revolution.
It took a while before they came up with the card, which was bothering me.
Yeah, and they mentioned that a little bit in the press conference too. After they asked some questions with Tony about like the lack of kind of build up with some of the matches, and it was really shocking. I mean, this was like, I think that was like their first thing in San Francisco, so it was already going to sell well. You know what I mean? Like, they've been waiting for AEW to come over there for a minute. So maybe he was banking on that. Maybe he's just, his hands in too many, but we'll talk about it later. But anyway, I mean, the main thing that I was really like focused on that I really wanted to see was the trios match, just because I'm a huge House of Black fan. I'm a huge Aleister fan. I'm a huge Buddy Matthews, Brody, even Julia Hart. Like, I just love them. I love their connection. I love their vibe. I love their aesthetic. I love their intros. Like, every time we go live and we go see a live show, I always hope to see their intro. It's just so fucking theatrical. I love them. And we're going to talk more about that later. But yeah, that's what I was looking forward to the most.
Same. Completely agree. WebsterStyle, what did you think leading up? Have you been following up with AEW as they're leading to this event?
I've been following bits and pieces. Time's been kind of limited lately. But I think last time we talked, I was really excited for Ricky Starks versus Jericho. Definitely, I think that was, for me, the highlight of the show. MJF's is something different in many respects, in all good wrestling terms, though. But I wasn't sure how to feel about him and Bryan Danielson. I think for me, I am more up on MJF as a character than a wrestler. And with Bryan Danielson, I think wrestler. I could care less what character he is. I think wrestler. So for me, it wasn't one of those things where I was looking forward to, but I wasn't like, oh, this is going to be some garbage either. I'm like, I knew it was going to be a good match. But like I said, for me, it was Ricky Starks. That's really the thing. But I don't think I realized about this trios championship because I think I might have missed that when the rundown we did last week. I love the House of Black. I love Malachi Black. I love everything they're doing with that. And I am glad that they took that time off and came back renewed. And the trios championship, I think personally speaking, with them winning the belts, I care about the trios championship now. I didn't care about who the Elite had it in. I keep wanting to say Neville, but it's not Neville.
It's Death Triangle.
Yeah, Death Triangle. Pac and the
Lucha
brothers
Bros.
there. I love all of them. I could have cared less about the Trios Championship on them. This is my thing with those two outlets. It didn't feel organic for me. It felt like, okay, you got Pac with the pseudo Intercontinental Championship, I forget what they call it. And again, no disrespect matches. There are a lot of titles, and I don't remember all the names. I'm getting old. And then obviously with the Bucks and Omega, I mean, clearly it's like, yes, you got the Elite connection, but the Bucks are a tag team. Kenny Omega's Kenny Omega. So it's hard for me to feel like this is something that needs to be on them. But Death Triangle, they are a trio. The House of Black, that makes perfect sense to me. And especially going forward, you have a legitimate trio, especially in the time of the company, they like no singles titles, like and how even that's come together over the past year or so. Like, it was exactly what I think the trios title needed, was to have them win it.
Definitely agree. And as you see, I changed the background because it definitely was a highlight for me. Ever since Malachi Black left WWE and he went to AEW, I was super excited. I was a huge fan of Malachi Black when he was with WWE, and so I wanted him to get some play. At first, I was like worried they weren't doing shit with him, and I'm sure y'all would agree at first. And then they finally teamed him up with Brody, and they brought Buddy came over now as well. They formed the House of Black. I was excited, man, but also feeling, when are they going to get their just due? So it was amazing to see them pull it off. But we'll get to that. Let's actually run through the card real quick. And since you did bring up WebsterStyle, Ricky Starks, that was the first match of the night against the Ocho, Chris Jericho, Ricky Starks versus Ocho.
The Wizard. All the nicknames for this man.
Right?
Man,
let's talk about that match.
That was a match, so there was a couple of pre-show matches, which
I missed those because I was driving, so I don't remember.
It was like, I think Mark Briscoe and Lucha Bros versus Ari Daivari and the Varsity, whatever the fucks, I can't remember their name. That's Tony Nese and
the Varsity Athletes. I'm like, wait a minute,
there it is.
What happened to the Varsity Blondes? They got too many varsities.
Yeah, it's too many. And that was a good match. Just seeing Mark Briscoe come out is heartwarming. Like, I don't know how the man just, after what happened, but I don't know how he just jumped right back into it, man. I mean, maybe that's taking his mind off. Maybe it makes him feel more connected. It's just so heartbreaking, man. And like, you can just hear it in the announcers' voices too. It sucks. A lot of people were close to Jay. And then that was a good match. Lucha Bros came out in like some 49ers gear. They're in San Francisco, so they had to wrap it. It was like very Iron Man looking. It was really dope. A lot of the fits looked really cool, like throughout Revolution too. So I will point that out too. And then the next match, I think, was Wheeler Yuta and Claudio versus who the fuck did they fight? Man, I can't remember. Oh well, whatever. It was pre-show. It was still a good match. It's great wrestling all around. But yeah, the Ricky and Chris Jericho match, man, that was a ringer. That's had story built up for like at least a month or two, between Wheeler going against Daniel Garcia, and like this coming off the fallout of Ricky losing to MJF for the belt. So, and this kind of elevates Ricky a little bit more, because Ricky was, the FTW champion with like the group. I forget what was her name?
Team Taz.
Team Taz. There, I don't know how I forget that. But he was Team Taz, and I felt like that kind of weighed him down a little bit. They didn't really know what to do with him. And then he got injured, and a slew of injuries just like, held him back. So I feel like for the past like 3-4 years that he's been there, it's kind of, he hasn't been able to get catapulted. And I feel like this is like the jump off point. I feel like this is like the catapulting of it, and it started with getting, obviously, so Ricky wins, in this competition, and like this is, Chris putting him over. This is, and I felt like, I will point this out. Like I said, I wasn't really hyped up about this card, but watching it, like a lot of great wrestling throughout, and also this was kind of like the pillars night. Like they always talk about the pillars of AEW, like the homegrown talent, and I feel like this was a pay-per-view for the pillars. Mm-hmm. Pure and simple. Ricky was a pillar, got over. Jungle Boy, a pillar, got over, finished that storyline. Fuck Christian Cage, MJF, a pillar, beat Bryan Danielson at the end of it all. 68 minutes in total runtime was of that match. Like all those pillars just fucking won. Ass Boys retain. As much as I hate the Ass Boys, like, and I'm not going to say they're fucking pillars. I can't say it because no, but like they're giving it to the younger people, which is what WWE had always, like, and all these other brands always strayed away from. They always try to go for like the known people, the people with fire under them or notoriety under them. Like if this was a WWE card, Chris Jericho would have won. Bryan Danielson would have won. You know what I mean? And then like the original champions they acclaimed would have won, or they would have given it to fucking Jeff Jarrett of all fucking people, along with fucking Jay Lethal, because they're veterans. So I really enjoyed that. But back to the Ricky match. I got sidetracked there for a little bit. Right. I know you guys didn't watch it, but there is one clip. I don't know if you saw this clip. Oh, well, no, Pat, you saw it. When at the very end, fucking, first of which, Andre Andretti, fucking Sammy Guevara coming down with a shit-eating grin, man. I fucking can't stand that motherfucker. He's going to be another great heel, too.
But that's why he's such a great heel.
That's why. Like, you're just like, man, I just want to punch you in the face, dog. Damn. Like, I mean, he doesn't deserve all the hate he gets for just being a person, but his character, I just want to punch the character in the face. But there's a point where fucking Jericho, there's a great build up. Jericho fucking, there's like this distraction, refs fucking doing something, and Jericho grabs a bat and fucking hits Ricky right in the fucking ribs. And I think he tries to then go for a fucking Judas effect, the elbow joint, spinning back elbow, and Ricky just countered it. It was a great counter that I don't think I've ever seen before. And I think they actually mentioned it on like the commentary, like no one's ever blocked the Judas effect. And Ricky does like this like fucking reversal thing and then turns it into a Rochambeau and just, and then 1, 2, 3 and gets the fucking win. And it was just such like, it was like the typical underdog, like you fucking, you're against all odds. You fucking get hit with a bat when you're already injured. Signature move coming in, and you fucking dodge it, move it, hit your signature, and boom, pin. And it was just such a good story. And having Chris Jericho, a lot of people talking, especially with Raw last night, and people were talking like the passing of torches. And I feel like that was kind of like in my opinion, like that's a way of passing a torch, in my opinion. Letting someone get a clean victory over you like that.
Yes.
And I know Chris Jericho's been doing it quite a bit lately, especially, with Andre Andretti.
I like
and
that.
I love it, and I just, I fucking love that match. There was just so much heart. Ricky just has so much heart. And in that ring, like he's just so good at acting, man. He's such a good fucking stellar performer. I love it.
Definitely. Any thoughts on what you saw? I know you weren't able to see it all, Eldon, but what you did see, were you happy to see that Ricky won?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Like I said before last time, I'm a Ricky Starks fan. Been a fan for a few years now. So to finally see him get a good push in this company is something that I've been looking for a long time.
Definitely. Ricky's got a and to everybody's points, we like what he's all about. To me, he's he so much Rock stuff about him, and I'm a big fan of the Rock, but he's like his own person. He's absolute Ricky Starks. Yeah. So good to see. Dude, excited about that.
If you didn't see his like presser attire, he came out with the fucking shades, like the skinny black shades. Like he exudes that Rock era, like the
Essence,
old
yeah.
school rock era essence, you know? And I love it about him, man.
Definitely. So let's go from like rock like to something Undertaker like in a last burial match. Because those ending vibes to this match were very Undertaker-ish,
No,
at least for me.
yeah.
Jungle Boy Jack Perry versus Christian Cage. They went at it a little bit and in front of the sister a little bit. What do you think about that match, Shawn?
Man, look, Jungle Boy is phenomenal, right? Like, everything with his history, like who his father was, and just everything how tragically that happened, and like they dug hard into that in this storyline, and it's been going on for years.
Right.
It felt like years. I know it was only like a year and a half, and only got dragged out because Christian kept getting injured. But it felt so long, and you know what? I kind of appreciated this. I feel like this was the closure. This was a closure that everyone wanted. So this is closure.
Let's leave it there now.
Yes. And I made a comment. I think I tweeted it. I was like, God, like AEW's only been around for 4 years, and I feel like I've seen a lot of casket matches in AEW in 4 years. And I'm just like, they love their stipulation matches in AEW, and I'm not against it either. They got 4 pay-per-views a year or whatever it is. So I mean, yeah, you got to kind of do that, I guess. So like, I always got to stop myself and be like, I gotta remember this. They're not monthly, so they have to cram like all these stipulation matches into like one pay-per-view. But yeah, no, it was a grueling match. To see Jungle Boy come out, see his family, and it's always funny. You can always point out Jungle Boy's family, like their hair. It's all the same. Like you see them in the front row, like, oh, yep, that's his family. And then of course, Christian goes to shit talk, and my man came out in like this sleeveless turtleneck. There was some choices with the attire of this one. Okay, I retract my comment from a little while ago, from 5 minutes ago. Yeah, because Christian Cage came out in like, I don't know what it was, like some Men's Warehouse turtleneck that he ripped the sleeves off of, and then fucking Jungle Boy came out with some jeans and those same damn fucking boots that he wears for the past 5 years. I swear to God. And you know what? Outside of that, those two went at it. Like, I mean, it looked like they were like, and I even said it like on.
There was a chair shot at the end.
There was a concerto, yes.
Yeah.
But even before then, there was like a lot of like hard bumps.
Yeah.
Where I was just like, whoa, this is looking a little crazy. Same thing with the Mox and Adam Page.
Oh yeah, we'll get there.
There was a lot of and I'm just like, whoa, like they are going at it, man. But yeah, that final concerto, which call back to the Edge and Christian days, obviously. They're still doing concertos. I think Rhea did a concerto on Beth, and that's what started, continued the whole feud with Judgment Day and Edge, and it's still going on, But, like that concerto just has so much resonance. And then to bury him, like that final kind of like, he tossed him in, he breathed, he looked at the crowd, took a sigh of relief, looked down, and it was just like a fucking big fuck you, and like it just, and then the shit sank. People are already gifting that like wasted, like as the thing's going down. Like that was good cinematography.
That was mad quick how it went down.
Yeah, that was good cinematography. Like they tested that and planned that and rehearsed that. Because a lot of times when they do cool shit like that, they don't really rehearse it, and it ends up being whack as fuck. So that was definitely rehearsed, and I am glad for it because that was really good cinematography, like very good.
All right, Eldon, any thoughts on that match?
I am. This is one of the things about AEW. One of the things people talk about, they don't have great long-term storytelling. I know this was elongated because of Christian Cage's injuries. But I like the story. I like the twists and turns. I think that his injuries helped the story because you never know when he was going to pop back up. And didn't Jungle Boy get injured at one point in time too during the course of this?
I think it was a bunch of things happening because it also had Luchasaurus. Also, where is Luchasaurus? But yeah, there was a bunch of back and forth with that. So it was just, to me, it got a little convoluted and a little confusing. and yeah, there's a fine line to how you do those drawn out stories. You know what I mean? And like I said, and we talked about last week, like they're only 4 years. Like I think they just hit 4 years, so they're still fleshing out the long-term storytelling, procedure and how it can smoothly run so that people don't get bogged down with a story. So they're, you don't want to see the same match every single week. Right. That doesn't tell a story. That's kind of boring. Like we've seen this match all over. Why you're going to give us this again at pay-per-view? What? That's not a pay-per-view match. We get it on Dynamite every week. So it's very interesting. But like I said, like at the end of it, like when it was going on, I was like, man, they're dragging this out. But like I am glad to see this, come to an end. And I'm glad that it did take. So you are right. Like I'm glad that it kind of dragged out this long. You know what I mean? It's had so much like that just that great, like, I mean, Christian went for the throat and all the time, like just dogging his father, like your dad dead, and I was your dad. And like, I was just like, God damn, dog. Like, what is going?
Can we acknowledge Christian for just becoming that heelish way that he did? Oh, good shit.
It is, man. Christian's a great heel. He can really play that role. Like when he first came on and he was like the good guy, I was like, this is weird. I don't think he fit as, a face. Like I don't. Certain people have that, certain people you can't see as a face and certain people you can't really see as a heel.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and Christian's one of those guys, like I cannot see him as a face. Like unless he's back with Edge.
Exactly what I was thinking.
I can't.
So I like that. I want to segue from that because one of the rumors now, we did this burial. Is Christian going to leave and head over to WWE with
you get the help with the Judgment Day?
Can we? Do you all have any thoughts on that? Do you think we've seen the last of Christian at AEW?
I think so. I don't know what his contract looks like.
Right.
You know what I mean? I follow all the dirt sheet shit. I haven't really seen much on it. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I mean, both Edge and Christian are at the age where they want to start doing what they want to do before they have to completely be retired. So I'm pretty sure they want one last run together because I don't think they really had that since Edge has come back. So I'm pretty sure they're going to want that before they're completely done. And I think the best opportunity right now, especially with this storyline going the way that it's going and WWE going the way that it's going with all these factions and groups now, Edge is by himself outside of Beth. But, they're not going to let intergender wrestling, like you have to have a mixed tag team, bullshit. So, he doesn't really have a tag team partner. So he needs Christian. And then it can be fucking, Finn and Damian versus Edge and Christian.
WrestleMania's coming up. WrestleMania's coming up.
And that's if that happens, I would fucking love it. I would love it. I don't know what Christian you'd get, but I would fucking love it, man.
I'm with that too. What about you, Eldon?
Yeah, that would be awesome. It's interesting. I watch videos. Well, you don't know what. I watch videos all the time. Cats do like this. So-and-so's contract's coming up. So-and-so's contract's coming up. I've heard nothing about Christian's contract whatsoever. Maybe with this match, since it's so fresh, maybe people haven't started making videos yet. But I don't know. It seems like a lot of cats in AEW outside of the whole Regal situation, they've signed like multi-year deals. And I don't think Christian's been there 2 years yet, if I remember correctly. So as much as I would love to see it, because we just got that brief glimpse, in the 2020 Royal Rumble?
I can't remember.
Edge and Christian, was it 2020 or 2021? It seems so long ago.
I think it was 2020.
Well, okay. Yeah, so that one. So it's been a while. I don't know. I would hope so. I think that would be a wonderful surprise and a great secret to have happen, even if it's a one-off at WrestleMania.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to see that.
It would, it would play with it. The burial, let's go. And, they're getting older. Why not? Well, he's got some prime meat to him right at the moment.
AEW loves that shit because Real Regal's still in the hospital.
Right. Let me ask you this question, though. What do you think would be next for Jungle Boy after this, though?
Ooh, good question. Yeah, like because they're like he should be a singles champion is what the announcers were saying. I like Jungle Boy, but I don't like him to that level personally.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm trying to think of all the championship pictures. We're gonna get to the TNT Championship. We have, and I really forget Pac's championship. Whatever it's called, we have that one as far as the single men's. I don't see him in
the Mid-Atlantic.
Thank you, Mid-Atlantic. I don't see him in line for either one. And I don't feel like they're doing or they've done the Mid-Atlantic a whole lot of justice either, personally speaking. But I don't see how he fits into that picture for either one, especially with what we're going to talk about with Hobbs now with getting the brass ring, so to speak, and Wardlow. Like I don't see Jungle Boy in that picture with the current contendership.
With Jungle Boy, and like here's the thing. I'm going to be honest with you. I forgot all about the Mid-Atlantic Championship, and I think AEW forgot about it too.
It's always on Dark.
It's
always on Dark.
I haven't said, and it's probably because they had to pre-record shit because Pac is fucking overseas and can't. Visas have been really weird lately. Getting over here. So I don't know. I would love to have a Jungle Boy and Pac fucking feud.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I think that would be fucking great. And I think that would give Jungle Boy a chance to get on the mic. I feel like Jungle Boy is not strong on the mic, but he needs experience. You know what I mean? You have to give him, something. And, and Pac's not the best either. You know what I mean? He's a fucking, he's a tiny flying little goblin who just fucking, he's a great wrestler. You know what I mean? And, like he fucking has an arm, he's muscular. You know what I mean? Like he just looks like a good wrestler. But like he's unless he's like the crazy goblin character backstage and like trying to get Ray Phoenix to smack people with a hammer, like he doesn't really do well with promos. And, I think those two kind of head to head, like, I don't know. I'm not going to say that Jungle Boy, in my opinion, needs a manager or like a mouthpiece, but I think he still does. I think he needs a younger mouthpiece that will help him. You had Christian. Christian was with him and Luchasaurus for a while, and hopefully some of that did, and hopefully this feud helped him too. And I think it has. I don't know if it has on the mic, but it's definitely helped him with the storyline aspect, I think. And right. Christian brings, like Chris Jericho and Ricky, Christian brings a lot of experience, a lot of different gimmicks, a lot of different storylines that he's done into the fold. So I'm really hoping that something happens with Jungle Boy. I really do like Jungle Boy. I'm not tired of Jungle Boy yet, like I am with Darby Allin. I'm so glad I haven't seen Darby Allin in a while because I need a break from Darby Allin.
The thought that just came into my head was Ring of Honor and possibly him against Wheeler Yuta. That title. That
would be good because Wheeler is also a fucking pillar, in my opinion.
Oh, same. But I think they need to build up that Ring of Honor brand. Who could go in size and weight class type range, and that's the first thought that came to my head.
Yeah, no, like I fully believe they're going to be doing that. I fully believe there's going to be a couple different AEW wrestlers that are going to be moved over to ROH, and I think they're going to pick some big now. I think Samoa Joe is going to be probably a permanent resident over in ROH, and that's why he dropped the belt, to Wardlow. I think Jay White could possibly, and like we talked about that last week, Jay White could possibly jump over there, and like I think they can put some big names over there and then, get it. Yet again, I watched the whole presser, so I have all this information about this shit that Tony was talking about too, but I want to get through the rest of this card.
Yeah, let's get through the card, y'all. Well, we already kind of talked a lot about it off the top. The World Trios Championship. Because we are House of Black stands over here.
Yes.
But let's not forget about the Elite, though. I know a lot of Elite is shoved in our faces. Let's be real about it. Elite are really shoved in our faces, but they are phenomenal to watch. I'm never bored with a Young Bucks, Kenny Omega.
That's true.
Never
match.
Never
they
bored.
Keep it so exciting. And in regards to Fitz, Shawn, you saw the California love that Nick and Matt were rocking with that gear.
Yes, I saw that. I saw Kenny like just being like the Yakuza mob boss, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's such a nerd, and it's so reassuring. You know, it's so nice to see that kind of touch, you know. And you know, a lot of that comes from New Japan. I mean, WWE is starting to do it now. Like, you know, New Day definitely kind of popped that off and started that in WWE. You know, they were given the freedom to do it, and then now other people in WWE are starting to be a little bit nerdy and being like more like nerdy inspired. You know, you got Zelina over there. Yeah, you know, my boy's wife, right here, Malachi's wife. You know, so you know, like Bianca Belair giving nods to things, Alexa Bliss, obviously. So it's really cool to see that, and just getting down right to these guys right here, the trios champs.
Beast
now.
mode did they look? My man Brody right here.
That face paint, man.
Woo!
That is some Kratos level fucking God of War shit, man. And I was here for it. I was like, man, fucking right. This is fucking dope. Like everything, like even fucking Julia's fucking veil that she had when they came out, and the goddamn fucking what's the shadow thing? I forget what it's called.
But it was phenomenal.
The silhouettes of them like popping up, man. It was just so fucking good. And like they know how to milk it too. You know, they have that presence. They have that presence. And man, the fits were great. The match was great. The physicality was great. The drama in the ring was great. Like, these guys just know how to tell a fucking story in the ring, and they don't have to use their fucking words. You know what I mean?
There's a moment that was, I don't know if one of my favorite moments when I forgot what was happening, but like it ended up with Kenny Omega sitting I forgot what you call it, ring around the rosy, when I was in school, you know, like crisscross applesauce, and then Malachi always sits crisscross applesauce, right? Yeah, and they were both sitting together looking at each other. So fucking badass. It was sick.
When they did that, there was a thought that crossed my mind. I was like, they haven't fought yet. And right when that moment happened, I was just like, this is a dream match of mine.
Yeah,
I want to see this. Yeah, like I want to see this. This is the Muay Thai champ versus the fucking B Trick. I mean, come on, like, this is such a cool matchup. I can't believe we haven't gotten it, and it's because, you know, Malachi was tied up with Cody off jump, and then he got shoved kind of with you know, not shoved, but he got placed in the House of Black and kind of got taken out of singles competition.
Right.
You know, and you know, you have to do that with some people. There's too many single competitors. So like I really love this, you know, and like there was a lot of good matchups. I mean, I honestly want to see Buddy against Kenny as well.
Yeah.
You know, like Buddy Matthew, like, and they had a lot of good spots. This was a fucking spot fest, you know, and I'm here for a good spot fest, man.
It was
that final fucking spot. Like, first of which, when Malachi got BTE triggered, I thought it was over. I was like, God damn it. I was like, they lost. Like, I was so mad. I was just like, and then, you know, I can't remember if he kicked out or if Buddy or someone interrupted. I can't remember. But, you know, it got broken up. And then when Matt did the fucking the Bucks are going for the Meltzer driver, I think it was, and flipped over the rope, and fucking when Buddy kneed him, oh my God, that was a thing. People went ape shit on the internet. Like, people instantly started memeing it, instantly started doing all this shit, fucking wasted memes. You could hear the shit. It was just so beautiful.
Yeah.
And it just set up for the win. And I was like, oh my God, like, that's one of those, it gave me fucking chills to watch it because it looked so real. You know what I mean? And they already had an amazing match. They already give you all these cool spots, and they went on for like 20 minutes and they're sweating their ass off. And then boom, they do this crazy thing. You're just like, I didn't think that could fucking happen, man. Like, and it was just so cool. And then of course you had all the super kick parties fucking left and right, you know? So this is my favorite match. So
yeah, I'm trying to think, you know, between that and the Iron Man was the match of the night for me. WebsterStyle, what did you get from checking out some of it?
Well, this is what I'll say about the House of Black. I think that they could not. And again, I don't know if that's more of Malachi putting things together or Tony. And honestly, I'll think more so Malachi with the direction of everything, in my opinion, based on what he's done before. It's very much his wheelhouse. They are a trio that just works so well, from their different abilities they bring in the ring to their character work. Like, they are a trio, and I think that's why, you know, I even think of, like, I can't think of anybody else, at least right now, currently, other than like when the New Day was complete. Like, they were individuals, but they are a trio. They built off each other. They had different skill sets. They, you know, they work well together. Like, they were a trio, even though it was Freebird rules with the New Day and WWE. But as a trio in this regard, like, this is exactly who you need to elevate those belts.
Yeah.
From an in-ring work and character work, those promos from now on. Not saying they weren't fire before, but can you imagine with them now having the belts and the sort of fire is going to come from them in these promos?
Yeah. They're going to get more time too, because they have the belts. They're going to allow them to have more promo time and have more vignettes, and I'm here for it.
Yes.
And honestly, like you said, like, there's definitely elevated. Like, I feel like the Trios Championship got off to a rocky start, obviously, because right when the Elite won, that's when they got fired. The whole CM Punk brawl bullshit happened, and then they had to give it up. And then there was this big, you know, Trios tournament. And honestly, I felt like House of Black should have won it then, but then they put it on Death Triangle for some time, and then that was, you know, what it was, you know, a little weird. But here it is. And then they let the Elite come back and beat Death Triangle in a best of 7 or whatever it was. That
entertaining matches, though. I enjoyed it.
Those were.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to get a little kind of like, oh, dog, like, what the fuck? But like, they kept it. They have ways of like choreographing their matches to where it doesn't seem like the same fucking match over and over again. So I will give it to them on those, because I literally thought I was going to be fucking buggered, like, just dogged out by it. I'm like, man, what the fuck? Like, 7 whole fucking matches of the same people.
Yeah.
But I wasn't. So I was pleasantly surprised, you know, and like I said, Elite has that way, but like, they don't need the belts. Like, they're, you know, like, just put them in stories and let them go. They don't need the fucking belts anymore. They've had the tag team. They've had the trios. Kenny's had fucking every single goddamn belt except for the TNT belt in the Mid-Atlantic. But they don't need it, you know, at this point. You know, and honestly, like, they've had their chances. They've had the belt. They've had it. Move on. Go to cool stories. You know, honestly, I have other thoughts about Kenny, which I'll save for later. But yeah, no. Great match. I fucking loved it. I don't know what's next for House of Black. I don't know who else is a good stable kind of faction
to rise up against.
To rise up against House of Black. I don't know who that is. Yeah. You know, would have been the best friends back in the day. But don't know anymore.
That'll be for another show. Where do we go from Revolution?
Interesting.
But let's continue on with the AEW Women's World Championship match, the only women's match of the night. Jamie Hayter with Britt Baker, DMD versus Ruby Soho versus Saraya with Toni Storm out there as well. I wanted it. Y'all know I'm a female wrestler, women's wrestling fan, stan. Yeah. I was a little underwhelmed with this one. Shawn, since you watched it, what are your thoughts? Did you feel the same way?
The motherfucking fits. Let's go down to the fits because goddamn, Jamie Hayter had just like a great fucking fit. I don't know what it is, man. You know, but like the originality.
Ever since she got the belt, she's been putting on some fits. Yeah, before that, man. I don't know. She like, it's like they didn't give her a costumer until she won the championship.
The color scheme, everything was dope. She always comes out with the robe. You know, like I fucking love Jamie Hayter, and I've been a fan of Jamie Hayter since she came on board to AEW, and I've been screaming, get her a fucking title. You know, ever since her little conflict with Britt, I wanted her to turn on her and just fucking take the goddamn belt. And now they've turned into like she won the belt and Britt's just okay with it. I'm just like, that's weird. But whatever, I digress. That's weird. That's not a Brit thing to do, but okay. And then motherfucking Saraya. This is the best fit I've seen from Saraya. I'm very modest, you know my wife is in the color green, and also Trinity, like that lime green color, like it really gets me. So like the fit from Saraya was, I loved it. I loved it to death. And honestly, I think this was her best match so far in AEW. I know she hasn't had a lot, but this was definitely Saraya's best showing in AEW, in my opinion. Ruby had Ruby's attire. It wasn't anything too crazy, but she had like the cool green hair and shit like that. But something seemed off about Ruby, and it didn't click until obviously at the end, because like the entire time I'm just like, Britt's going to turn on Jamie. Britt's going to turn on Jamie. I was tweeting this shit like Britt's going to turn on Jamie, but it didn't happen. They kept panning to Britt every so often. I'm like, oh, she's going to turn. She's going to turn. It's going to be great. But like I thoroughly I liked the pacing of it. It did in the beginning start off a little slow. Like there was a little sloppiness in the wrestling.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that was, but they started fucking dogging each other in the end, man. They brought the table, I think it was. I forgot who went through the table, but they put on a good show, in my opinion. And I love the back and forth, the interruptions between who was it? Tony Storm. They had Tony Storm on the outside. You had Britt on the outside. And I love what someone said. Someone tweeted and was like, oh, they're the outsiders because it's Tony. It was Tony and Saraya. And they're like, we're the outsiders. We're not the AEW homegrowns like, Britt and Jamie Hayter. But like at the end when Ruby turned, like, it didn't dawn on me that was happening. It didn't dawn on me either that she would join the Outsiders because she's from WWE. You know what I mean? Like, and it just makes sense. I'm like, fuck, why didn't I see that? You know what I mean? And I like that. I like that kind of like, hey, we're the outside, the AEW siders, like the Outsiders. And I was just like, that's funny. Like, that's good. I like it. I like that shit. And, like I said, I've missed Saraya Paige. And it was definitely something where I didn't appreciate Paige when she was actually wrestling in WWE because she was such a heel. And she also like kind of came in and took AJ Lee's thunder and like immediately won the Divas belt back in the day. And I always had a chip on my shoulder because of that, I think. So I always kind of like threw fucking shit at Paige. And then when, unfortunately they had to retire because of the whole injury and everything, I was like, man, I really took her for granted, man, fuck. And like, now I got her back. So now I can really appreciate her. And, like she's in AEW. So now I feel like I don't have a chip anymore. So I'm like, I'm excited to see what she's going to do, cause like, she's like, I watched her stream. Like she was itching to get back into wrestling. Like she loves this shit, But I thought it was a good match. I feel like it had adequate build up. I feel like it had a decent payoff, and I feel like it's going to continue. You know what I mean? And, now since there's three of them, I feel like, with Britt and Jamie Hayter, they need one more person. So I don't know who that's going to be. I want it to be Hikaru Shida. I think Hikaru Shida comes back and like squashes beef with Britt, and it's 3-on-3, and it's just like a fucking slobber knocker of just like all of them beating the shit out of each other. And I want it. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not one of those people where it's just like, oh, women shouldn't have death matches and they shouldn't bleed. Bullshit. Fuck that. I love that shit. Go at it. Fucking fuck each other up. Like, I want to see that shit, man. Like, do what you want to do. Like, if that's your match that you want to see as a wrestler and you want to put it on, go do that shit. Like Britt's done it, broke her nose, blood leaking everywhere, looking like a badass. Becky did it, looking like
Ruby
a badass.
had it with the Willow thing against, I forgot.
That was awesome. I saw right when Ruby turned. I went on Twitter and I saw Willow being like sad face. Like Willow just started tweeting like sad frowny faces. because Willow's just forever a babyface. So I mean, maybe Willow will join up with Britt and Jimmy Hayter now and have to turn against her one-time partner Ruby because now she's a baddie. So I really hope that, because I really want to see Willow on more too, and I fucking love Willow. But yeah, I wish there was. I'm mad we didn't get a Jade match. I'm really mad. You know, I wanted, even though she was probably just going to squash whoever it was. I'm really, really mad we didn't get a Jade Cargill match or something.
I mean, I know it was a stacked card, but even when we were running down last week, and back in my head, I'm like, that's kind of odd that there's no Jade match.
Yeah. No pack.
I do understand as a stacked card, you get pay-per-views 4 times a year. And, you know, kind of what we said before, there's really no storyline going into a pay-per-view at this point in time for Jade. So, yeah, it made sense booking-wise, but it was just so, you know, your other female championship and it's not on your pay-per-view.
This actually isn't that stacked of a card. This isn't as many matches as they normally have, but since they have the Iron Man match at 60 minutes, they had to like cut back a lot of shit. But yeah, man, I'm hoping for more shit. You know, honestly, like I said, we were talking about Mercedes Moné last week, so I was really hoping that was going to come. That's why I was mad I didn't get a Jade match, because that definitely meant we weren't getting Mercedes. So I think that's what I was more mad about. Like, let's
keep our fingers crossed for that build-up.
Yeah.
That's what would be awesome. WebsterStyle, World Championship match, Women's World Championship.
You know, unfortunately, I didn't see it. I just saw the turn at the end.
Yeah.
In the highlights. So, you know, I really can't comment outside of what Shawn was talking about, how, you know, you didn't see that coming. So it's gonna be very interesting with that faction now, that trio of AEW outsiders, and who is that potential third person going to be for the originals. I'm interested in that, and I'm interested in that story. Something we just talked about last week as far as the lack of storylines for women. In this case, you have, yes, it's around the title scene, but potentially you have 6 women from your division now involved in one storyline. And then you have whatever's going on with Jade. And then even with that, you still have, you know, I don't know if Kira's still, if she's not injured or whatnot, but she's still kind of floating around there.
Who's that?
Velvet, Layla Gray, all of them are kind of floating around that orbit. It's just a matter of who else they're going to bring in with that. So you got to, you know, a good portion of the women in some sort of storyline. Once again, you know, a nice portion, maybe not a good portion, but a nice portion of the women in some sort of storyline. It's just a matter of developing it without a belt. And I think that's something that the major promotions have an issue doing anyway.
Yeah, no, definitely do. But yeah, I you know, one other comment I'll make, Saraya was getting dropped on her fucking neck. Like, she ain't never had anything wrong with her neck before. It was a little scary. Some of the spots, some of the bumps she took.
That's my thing watching whenever she wrestles now.
Yeah, it's hard, man. Same with Daniel Bryan, though, or Bryan Danielson. Like, it's just hard to, like, watch him get thrown around like he does. And the same thing with Saraya. But anyway, let's move on to the next match. Let's keep this going.
Texas Death Match. Let's put in a little bit overdrive because we still have quite a few to go. Mox versus Hangman. Like, talking about people getting dropped on their neck. There's a lot of hard hits. You even mentioned it earlier, Shawn. And then ending up with the chain around the neck, which you saw forecasted. I'm like, why were you wrapping that around your neck? Something's gonna happen with that.
Yeah, because he's a fucking he's a moron. That was.
And you knew there was gonna be blood. It's Mox.
It's Mox, of course.
That was brutal.
That
it was entertaining. It was an entertaining match.
Yeah.
I will say it was entertaining.
The new Hangman theme and the new fit, chef's kiss. Like, it's very, people are like, it's very Red Dead Redemption levels, very dark, red and blacks, it got the black velvet on with the fringe and shit hanging off. And it feels like a new Hangman. It feels like a new Adam Page. And I'm here for it. I like it. I want it to be a little grittier, a little darker, so, maybe not so much a heel turn, but just kind of like a rougher, Hangman, not the jolly, like, let me go hang with the Dork Order and drink my whiskey. Ha ha ha. Like, I want like a grittier kind of like no fucking bullshit Hangman. And I think we got him. Like this match was fucking crazy, man. Like all the barbed wire, fucking grazing on the forehead, fucking wrapping around your fist.
Yeah, there's some
punching.
cringe moments, man.
Yeah, man. It got fucking wild. And then the hangman hanging, man, with the chain, like that was wild too. I was just like, whoa, that's rough. But Mox tapped out, and yet again, another kind of proverbial passing of the torch. Adam Page, younger talent, didn't start off in AEW. Obviously, he came from nowhere, but he didn't come from WWE like Mox did.
Right.
So I mean, it felt very much like, hey, you're our younger talent, and we're putting them over now. Whereas 2 years ago was, hey, here's all the WWE people, and we're putting them over. It was Cody's moments, and CM Punk, a year ago. So it's just like, it's nice to see them putting things on all of their younger talent, not just one or two of them, So it was really nice seeing that. So I'm excited. That was a great match. I don't know where Hangman goes. I don't even know what happens with Mox after this. You know what I mean?
I think Mox needs to take a break.
Yeah, I think he
is. He's been wrestling every week, man. He needs to go relax with Renee for a little bit.
Yeah, hang out with her kid. Yeah, hang out with the baby.
I will say this much though. I have felt as though that Hangman's needed a change in his persona for about a year. So I am glad that it has finally happened. And it's interesting because I didn't have much experience with a lot of those cats before AEW, but I knew of the Elite and Hangman, and I saw the one RAH I went to back in the day. I saw him there, and I came away really impressed. And I came away as I wouldn't say fan, but like I liked Hangman Page. Of all the Elite, that's the one I like the most. So I follow him, and it's something about just how things are played on AEW. I don't know. I felt like that wasn't the same guy, and he was a bit edgier. I don't know, something about being with the Elite, and then what's happened after that. You're right. It was very soft as well as character wise. More of a
corny.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Yes. I am glad that they're making a change to make him a bit more edgy and more serious, because I think that's one of the things for me that during his world title run, I never got that for him being the champion, because that corniness was still there with him and his character. So I'm looking forward to big things with Hangman Page.
And honestly, that's the same way. Now I'm thinking about it. That's how I feel about Dark Order. I know why they went the corny route. But like they've just kind of kept them in this role of like this comedic. Like they were never supposed to be the comedic.
Right.
Relief. They were never supposed to be this corny group. They were supposed to be this badass, dominate, stomp, take over, almost Illuminati type vibe. It's just, and when Brody Lee passed, it was just like, well, we can't really continue doing what we were doing because we don't want to feel like we're passing the torch to someone else, but we still want to keep them on and keep, put on -1, 2. And they just kind of made it into like this corny thing. And then that's when Hangman kind of got involved too. And it just made it extra corny. And I was just like, this is like, honestly, like, man, bring back the badass Dark Order and put them against House of Black.
There could be your House of Black, who next right there.
Yeah.
Let's save it. Let's go in deeper with that kind of like AEW, where to go.
Yeah.
Let's finish up this card.
Sorry.
King of Television, Samoa Joe versus Wardlow. I hope this is it. But
me too.
And as we all know, Wardlow won. I'm gonna say I want this to be the shortest. No hate on Wardlow. This was battle of the meat. I love Samoa Joe. Wardlow's okay,
big meaty
but
man,
to me, he still has a lot of growing to do. And I really want to see my man Powerhouse Hobbs start to rise up. So I'm hoping this is the shortest run. WebsterStyle. I'm gonna go to you real quick.
I love Joe.
What do you think about this?
I didn't care about this match because we've seen it before.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's over. We knew he was dropping the belt because he really needs to be in ROH where they can fully utilize his talents on that brand. I agree with you though. Well, I'm kind of half and half. I feel like I want Hobbs to win the belt. I want him to be pushed. But to have Wardlow drop it so fast, I'm like, what was the real point of this build up? Like you didn't even need that. Like he could have dropped that on a Dynamite, if that's the case. You didn't need that on a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
If there's not going to be a lengthy program with Hobbs and Hobbs ends up taking it, or at least give Wardlow a couple of defenses before he actually gets to Hobbs, and we know that's at least as of right now. That doesn't look like it's going to happen. So who knows? Booking wise, like, what was the point of this? If things work out the way we think they're going to, I don't understand the point of this match on this pay-per-view. This could have been a Dynamite. This could have been a Rampage. I mean, you could have had him drop the belt there, call it a day. You have the pay-per-view, sets everything up, and now you start working the program with Hobbs.
I feel like they probably wanted to do something where Joe was like a double champ and then he went to ROH. But I feel like they made like a last minute decision of like, hey, like if we do this ROH club thing and we're doing a weekly show, we don't want the AEW belts going there. You know what I mean? So I feel like they backtracked a little bit. You know, I feel like they put the belt on Joe because they wanted him to be the double champ for some reason, you know, and I feel like it was like, oh, he's double champ. He's going to go to ROH and be this big boss. And then I feel like they probably had another meeting and they were like, no. You know what? We don't want that. You know what I mean? Like, we don't want our belt going over there because then it won't be here. And They already don't have that many singles belts. And then if you take ROH back to ROH, and that's even less belts at AEW. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I feel like that was like a, you know, kind of a weird thing. Yeah. But I think they really didn't plan for it. I think it was like a last minute decision of like, oh shit, yeah, we want to put the belt back on someone else. And it didn't really make sense to give it to anyone else except for Wardlow because they've been beefing. And also, I mean, people are high up on Wardlow. The crowd, like, he's over still. You know, like, people fucking love the shit out of him. I'm a little bored. You know, I need something. I need something different. That's what
I am with Wardlow. I'm bored with Wardlow.
Yeah, I need something. I need something more now, man. Like,
I think it's gonna be real screw. I think this match is gonna really show how mistimed this whole planning and everything went into structure. Because
my question is, when you get the ring, when you're the face of the Revolution, so what Will Hobbs won? What does that fucking ring mean?
Yeah.
Does he get, is it like Money in the Bank? Does he get any title match or does he only get
just TNT, I believe.
Okay.
Because that's the same thing happened with Scorpio Sky when he won it. Well,
okay.
What happened with that. But that's another story.
Yeah.
So
where's he at?
Yeah, it's TNT specific, when I understand.
So before we go, so do we think Hobbs and Wardlow, who's gonna win that?
They be smart to put on Hobbs.
They need to.
Yeah, so we all think it's going to be the shortest run ever then for Wardlow.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're going to draw it out. I think they're probably going to wait. They're probably going to have them clash a little bit. They'll probably have them go and do their squash matches, you know, build up their strength. And then when they have like one of their special dynamites or something like that, they'll fucking have their singles match. And I think fucking Hobbs is going to walk away with it.
I thought that was scheduled for this week, though. I thought they had a match this week. Yeah.
That's why I think it's going to be the shortest run ever.
Oh.
That's why I'm saying it doesn't make sense to me. Why would you have that happen literally the Dynamite after the pay-per-view?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's will be weird. Intriguing. There's going to be a lot to talk about on the next KayFabey.
Yeah.
AEW World Tag Team Championship 4-way Guns, Austin and Colton versus the Acclaimed, Anthony and Max, Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett versus Danhausen and Freshly Squeezed. Orange Cassidy.
Man.
This match.
Let me just tell you, I loved Orange Cassidy and Danhausen's fit, man. Like the black denim coming out. And let me just say, the star of this match, in my opinion, was Danhausen. because a lot of people now see like, oh, this guy, like he can wrestle. Like he's not just, this weird, gimmick, this curse you, motherfucker. But like, he can wrestle. And I really liked how much time he had in the ring. As heels do, Ass Boys did not have a lot of time in the ring, but they ended up winning, which is what heels do. So I'm not, I hate them even more because of it. But it was a good match. There's a couple good spots. Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett still got it. The old man still getting it.
He do.
Yeah.
He bouncing around and shit. And I'm just like, man, I was like, I don't know how, like, aren't you like Sting's age, dog? Like, and Sting's sitting there like Matt Hardy, just stiff leg, just no offense out. I know Matt Hardy's your boy.
Oh no, it's all good.
I always gotta
Father time is father time.
Yeah. But yeah, no, man, he's bouncing around like everybody, and I was just like, man, it was a really good match. The hype around it. I feel like the Ass Boy and the Acclaim then kind of fizzled out, and then they just threw a bunch of other people into it. And it would have been nice to see Orange get another title belt. Wait, no, isn't Orange the Mid-Atlantic champion?
Is he?
Who has the championship? But I can't remember the championship.
Yeah, he's the Mid-Atlantic. Yeah, because he was carrying it.
Okay.
He was carrying it in the backpack. That's
not Pac. Okay.
Yeah, Pac dropped it a while ago. I forgot about that. Yeah, so he had the belt. So I don't even know why he's going for the tag team. So some of this shit just doesn't make sense. But anyway, Ass Boys won, and then they bring out FTR, and I love FTR. FTR puts on amazing matches, but I'm bored. I hate saying it, but I'm bored. Like, I feel like there kind of is a storyline there because Ass Boys did beat FTR once. But I'm going to wait until tomorrow, to Wednesday, to see what they do about it. Like, what the hype is. Like, they can build something up, But
right.
But yeah, other than that, the match was, it was cool. They had a couple cool spots. They had the dude Singlam Sang come in and kind of wreck shit, and Danhausen low blowed him, and fucking daddy ass fucking famous. He fucked up that Famouser real bad, but he like sat on that motherfucker's upper back. It's like, goddamn, Billy, forget how to do your finisher, dog. Like, that was one of the funniest moments in my opinion. But yeah, your typical scissoring gimmicks and Ass Boy chants, and I found it funny that apparently everyone who had like the floor seats had little pieces of paper on them from like an AEW letterhead that said "Do not chant Ass Boys" or certain other thing. Like, people were tweeting about it, but like I guess they went and printed out little sheets of like "Do not chant Ass Boys," from management.
Yeah,
I like that has the opposite effect.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's their gimmick. Yeah. Don't call us Ass Boys. We're crybabies. Yeah. So I do enjoy that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just not invested in the Ass Boys. I'm not. I love the Acclaimed, but I'm just not invested in those two, Austin and whatever the fuck his other name is.
I have to say, I feel exactly the same way you do as far as the Ass Boys is concerned, but I'm not upset at the finish for some reason.
Yeah, they're heels.
I think that if FTR is a good team to build something with, to tell a story with the Ass Boys.
Yeah.
They claim are so over they don't need the belts.
That's true now.
Jarrett and Lethal. Regardless of which, they are legends, period. Yeah. And who was the last team in there?
Danhausen and Orange Cassidy.
Okay, yeah. So, and they have their they don't need the belts either. Like, the only ones in that whole mix that needed a belt, need the belts for anything are Billy and Colton.
That's a good point. Yeah, okay, I can see that.
And if you want to build them, then FTR is the right team to help build them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they are very good baby faces, and they are great wrestlers.
Yes.
And they put on good matches. So
Right.
yeah, this will definitely, yeah. I like talking through shit like that always makes me like kind of look at things a little differently than what I said before. So thank you for that. But yeah, no, you know what? I do. All right, I do enjoy it now. Okay, I'm a little bit more excited for it. I'm a little bit more excited for it now. You convinced me just talking that through. Okay.
Yeah, I can see that later. Yeah.
Do you have
But
any
I was
cool
just kind of
spots that you
blasé
remember?
for me personally on how I felt about the match.
Oh,
What were
okay.
you saying?
So, I was going to say, do you have like any cool spots that you remember from this match that you were just
I
like,
started
what the
getting
fuck?
tired. I ain't gonna lie. I'm an old man. But that's some cool moments. But yeah, I didn't mind guns, and
Yeah.
to exactly to Eldon's point, and then having them at FTR to continue that out, because again, everybody else is over to that degree, and it'd be cool to play off of that.
I was also getting very tired.
So let's
match.
kill this off with our last match of the night. That they actually MGF to me proved himself as a wrestler. MGF versus the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, 60-minute Iron Man match. So let's fast forward it to that very end, and you know we had I think Bryan Danielson scored the first pin, and then it was like immediately after MGF did 2 in a row. But then when I was like tweeting, because I was like live tweeting this whole thing, at some point when the clicker, because they actually had a clicker on the big screen, I don't see where Danielson got like another pin in there, and it was like tied 2 and 2. Then we had like another pin.
I got
lost in that numbering.
He had a submission.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. So it wasn't just the pins; it was submissions too.
Got it. Okay.
But
then that closed out. Let's talk about how it closed out, man.
Well, first, let's talk how it opened up with that fucking violin shit, man.
Yeah. Oh, that was nice. That was nice.
Dope.
MJF came out tough, bro.
The devil mask with the violins.
That was fire.
The only one thing I did not like is that, yet again, this is something that AEW has to do, and this is going to happen, lessons learned. I couldn't hear dog shit from the violins. Like, I had to turn my shit all the way up. It was really hard to hear what they were playing. And it was because they had so many violinists and people playing that not all of them had amps.
Yeah.
Because that would have been really, really difficult to kind of coordinate. But you kind of have to do it in that moment, especially if you're broadcasting, because you can't, like, your normal cameras aren't going to pick that up.
Right.
So that was kind of one downfall, but I still got the feeling of it. And then like the fit came out with the devil, like he's a devil, like this motherfucker just, man, he said, I'm the best in the world. I'm the best in the world. Best. Like, just kept screaming that shit like every 5 seconds. Like, this man believes that he is the best in the world, and he makes you believe that he is. But yeah, the whole match was great. It was a great lead up. We have to talk about the water thing with the kid.
Oh,
the final that wasn't a work. Like
they said it wasn't a work.
They said it wasn't,
because I was like looking into that during that. I was like, "What the fuck, dude?"
Yeah, dude. He like,
best heel moment so far.
My opinion, it had to be work. Like, the kid was sitting there, kind of hunkered down with a hoodie on, and he threw the water like at his hood. You know what I mean? So I was just like, what kid at a wrestling match, the main event, with a belt is just slumped over, like, just hood on, unless he's asleep. But they're in California, so it was like 8:00. You know what I mean? In their time. So I was just like, that's why I was like, it has to be a work.
Well,
and also,
I read an article about it earlier today, because and they said it wasn't.
Man, well, so I, like I said, watched the presser, and they're still acting like it wasn't. But we'll get into that after the match. But yeah, no. Outside of that, between that and like this man, like, MJF is just good. Like, there is one point where MJF like had Daniel Bryan outside. He's dazed, and he was like grabbed him by the head, and he was like walking over to the barricade, and he like cleared people out. Like cleared a clearing, like he was about to throw Bryanson over the fucking barricade into the crowd, and he's like, "No, get out of the way, get out of the way, get out!" He's clearing people, and people cleared. And there's like a pathway, and he goes to throw him over, and then turns around and throws him in the ring. He just like flicks off the crowd. I'm just like, he's in the middle of an Iron Man match. He thinks of this, and maybe it was planned. Which I don't think you're going to plan 68 minutes of fucking wrestling.
Right.
A lot of it's in the ring, kind of like thinking of it as you go. But yeah, I mean, like he looked in such good shape. Like he for anyone who says they don't believe that MJF is a good wrestler, when they watch this match, they're going to think otherwise. Because I mean, he was pulling out moves I haven't seen in a minute. Like he did a Peach Thunder driver at one point. Like he was pulling out submissions after submission, like on par with with Bryanson, like going back to back with him with like different submissions and doing reversals and doing all this shit. And then they have like a cool like spot where they're like rolling each other up and they're literally like tumbleweeding in the fucking ring, and it's just so fucking hilarious. Like. And it was just so much like they do it. Like at one point they do a bunch of combinations. They get knocked down. They do a kip up together at the same time. And it was just like so in sync. And it was just such a good fucking match. And then of course blood got involved and both of them are busted up, bleeding from their fucking face. And just like, there's so much heart. It goes down. It's like a draw. It's 3-3. They end the match. And Tony Schiavone, like, Tony, is that you? Oh, okay. I'll go down there and tell him. And he like runs down to the ring announcer. He's just like,
because it ended in a draw at the 60. And
he was like,
they captivated us.
Yeah. But like, and it plays back to fucking Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart at their Iron Man match at WrestleMania like 12, 13 or something like that. So it was just like a really fun callback to have that. And they wrestled for like another like 8-10 minutes. And it was such a good, it had you on the edge of your fucking seat, man. I mean, there was like, I literally thought Daniel Bryanson won, man. Like there's one point he hits a fucking Poison Rana on fucking MJF and then hits him with the fucking, however the fuck you pronounce his flying knee, the Busakai, Busakai knee. And fucking clears him with that. And before he did that, he fucking finally did like the yes chant. And everyone was just like, this is like the first time he's ever like acknowledged or started off the yes chant. And he fucking hits the knee, goes to pin him, and the motherfucker kicks out. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then, of course, he slides out the ring. He gets a fucking oxygen tank, that he's trying to breathe with and fucking pops Daniel Bryanson fucking head with it, or Bryan Danielson. Jesus Christ, I keep fucking that up. Bryan Danielson in the head with it, and then puts that motherfucker in the yes lock. Puts him in the yes lock. And then the ref's like raises his hand, and then on the third one, he's like, "Yeah, I'm still there. I'm still there." And like you think he's going to come out of it, and his hand goes down, and then he taps. I was like, I was so mad, man. And that's how I knew I was invested. I was like, God damn it. I was so pissed. I wanted to throw something at my TV. Like, how do you submit this man with his own move after 70 minutes of wrestling? How do you tap to your own move?
That was good storytelling.
It is. It is. And yet again, like we've been saying, that passing of that torch. No other motherfucker in the WWE would have let that happen. No other motherfucker would have been like, yeah, I'm fine with this ending. You know what I mean?
That was good shit, man.
It was such a good match. Yeah. And there were so many cool, fun spots. And fucking, like I said, MJF, like he jumps off the fucking top turnbuckle onto Daniel Bryan, who's on a table, like at the announcer ring. And like, he just gets so much air, like does a fucking standing pile driver onto a table. Daniel Bryan, like, there's a lot, like, yet again, like we talked with Saraya, like there's a couple spots where, like, oh my God, like, this dude's neck is not the best.
There's some hard moments. I forgot one move that just, he killed Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson. He killed him. Like, what the fuck? Like the way he came off of I forgot what it was, but you know what I'm talking about. There was like one moment, like, oh shit, he just killed him.
was it the driver when he had him like face up and then folded him down and fucking?
It might have been that. It might have been that. Yeah,
dude, that Peach Thunder driver, because it looks similar to the One Wing Angel that Kenny does, but that's when the motherfucker's up on his shoulders and he like bends him down, fucking folds him like a pretzel,
bro.
But yeah, no, it's great match. I fucking loved it. The presser. I know we don't, I know you guys, if you guys didn't, you probably saw the clips of the presser. This man came out like, and he just does a press conference. So like in his character came out with a fucking crutch being like, I have the best in the fucking, like just like screaming at the like reporters and just like screaming about how he's the best in the world. And he gets on the fucking stage and he's like, listen here, dipshits. I'll answer all your fucking questions. And he like takes out a pickle and he eats a pickle and he's just like screaming about how great the pickle is. Like, God, this is the great pickle. And what is it? It's like, dude, God damn, motherfucker. You want one? Hey, fuckface, come grab a pickle. And like, it's just.
I gotta watch the presser. I was too tired. I fell asleep.
It's on YouTube.
Okay.
It's free. You can watch it. And he has wet and like he just has wet and like Will Washington brings up the kid. And he's like, hey, like this is like a twofer. One, because Tony is sitting there. Every time Tony's like with a wrestler, my man just is zoned out, man. Like he like listening, like him just like watching MJF talk, he's just like I don't know what to do. Like I'm like, dog, you're the owner. Like, and that's why like all this shit's fake, in my opinion. Like they talk about this obviously beforehand. And so Will Washington is one of the reporters. I can't remember where he's from. I think he's Fightful or one of them. And he apparently was like one of the people who went to the kid and like bought him like a foam finger and shit like that to make him feel better. Right. And then like they bought the kid like tickets to like next week's AEW or this week's AEW in Sacramento, and then got him like front row again, and then also took him backstage to meet his favorite wrestler, Will Hobbs. So you got to like hang out with Will Hobbs.
Man, throw water on me any day. Shit.
Yeah, right. And then and it was really funny because he was like, it was like, MJF, why did you throw water on this kid? And then Tony Khan, like, what are you going to do to MJF since he did this? And it was a two-first question. And then he was like, oh, my question, easy. The kid looked thirsty. Next question. And like, how is it? Just stone cold face, no remorse. Just the kid looked thirsty. So I gave him some water. And then Tony Khan was just like, yes, we talked. And he will be, reprimanded for this, but yes, we talked to the kid. His name is Titus. He's going to this, and then he was like, he was a real trooper. He's going to be a great, great person in AEW. And then MJF just goes, Titus, salt of the earth, that Titus, and like, and I'm just like, if this kid Titus becomes a wrestler, this is going to be like the ultimate fucking storyline. Like MJF threw water on me when I was 9 years old. At fucking AEW, whatever the fuck this was, Revolution. I've come to kick his ass. Like, it's gonna be the greatest comeback. But like, he gets in that character, and it's just so good. I mean, same thing. Ricky Starks did the same thing. Ricky Starks comes up with a cool guy persona. He was a little bit more real. But yeah, they talked about a whole bunch of shit. The presser was just like entertaining as fuck. The MJF shit, like, it's just so entertaining. But like, yet again, I'm just like. He literally came out looking just like CM Punk looked like at All Out. Like, still blood on his face, just looking disheveled, like, just looking like he's just over it. And I don't know if it's like a fucking callback, like a call to CM Punk, or if it's like mocking CM Punk, because usually he's in like his suits and everything. Right. But like, he came out there just fucking all fucked up in a crutch, like beat up, being like, I work with. He didn't say the same thing as CM Punk, like, I work with a bunch of children. He said, I work with a bunch of fucking marks. He was like, oh, you're asking me for my dream match? I don't have a fucking dream match like all these other fucking marks on the roster. I am the dream match. He was just like, I have the belt. People should dream to wrestle me. And like, I was just like, God damn him, man. He's so fucking good. And just being this douchebag. And it's just, so much fun. I'm marking out myself. Look at this. Like, I hate the motherfucker, man. He's a heel. I fucking hate him.
Yeah, dude. But he's got one of those punchable faces like a Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin is like another heel who that's a whole nother subject for another day. that WWE is wasting away right now, and I don't know what flux he's in, and I know y'all been watching the trades and all that, but anyway, we'll say that because we'll be here another hour.
Whoa. Are you a Baron Corbin fan?
Am I a Baron Corbin fan?
Yes.
No, he's a face I want to punch, but at the same time, I respect his talent, though. I think he is a really good heel.
Okay, yeah, no, I will agree with you on that.
They've wasted.
Yeah.
They tried to do this thing with JBL. It fell through. Now they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like,
and now he's broke again. He's a broke boy.
I don't know what they're doing with that man.
Make him a broke boy again. That shit was hilarious.
But he's a face you want to punch and has that attitude. And MJF is like the Ric Flair of a face you want to punch and is killing it. So anyway, AEW Revolution. We did nothing but that. We were going to talk about other stuff, but we did a lot of time today. Yeah. So we'll save some time for another time. But for my first pay-per-view for AEW that I purchased in a minute, I enjoyed myself. I was very happy to see this. The trios, now where they're going to go from here. I'm really excited for the future. But then and this was a match I was looking forward to. It did it for me personally. But thinking match of the night now, as we've just went over this card, this was the match of the night for me. But then that 60 that MJF surprised me against Bryan Danielson. It's kind of, they're like neck and neck for me. What is it for you, Shawn, since you watched it as well? Was this the match or was Iron Man?
That's really hard. It's really, really hard. You know, like from the spot point, it was House of Black. Overall match and like storytelling, it was definitely Bryan Danielson. Fuck that. Bryan Danielson and MJF, because like I said, like there was just so much in the ring storytelling, and obviously both of them are great on the mic. Right. You know, we didn't really hear a lot of like promo shit from House of Black and what you call it, but they're still good like in the ring storytellers too, and they're good spots. But like, like it's neck and neck there for me too, man. I fucking love both of them. Yeah. So yeah, definitely that.
All right. From what you saw, what was the biggest match? Seeing the feedback off of it that you kind of really want to kind of see, Eldon.
Definitely the MJF. Bryan Danielson, what was his damn name?
We've influenced you now.
Match. I think overall, and this is something I like about AEW from this pay-per-view. I think it sets them up overall for the most part, and we've talked about the whole TNT championship, but I think in general, it set them up with good springboards for storylines over the next couple months. Yeah. And that's what I'm most looking forward to. I think overall, I still give it to the MJF match because I think this is the match he needed really to solidify himself as champion. Like I said, I know him more so for his mouth than his wrestling. Not saying he's not a bad wrestler, but I don't think he's had some good matches. But he really hadn't had, in my opinion, a standout match. And a 60-plus minute Iron Man match with Bryan Danielson, when you make him tap out to his own finisher, if that ain't standout, I don't know what the hell is.
Yeah. You remember that.
Yes.
You will remember that.
Yeah. I think that says it all. They put in work. Let's get up out of here, y'all. We did a lot of talk this week on KayFabeyBaby. But we're trying to start a revolution, if you will. And that was AEW's revolution. Before we get up out of here, Shawn, how can the people reach out to you?
Hey, so social medias, Twitters, Instagrams, at SMongoldVO, that's MONGOLD, and also check out DC Browlesque at or follow us on socials at the Nerdlesque Festival.
And WebsterStyle, the man, the myth, the fragrance.
You can find me first and foremost at WebsterStyle.com, but on Instagram and Twitter is WebsterStyle, on TikTok it's _WebsterStyle, and there you are.
All right, there you go. I am the legend Kuya P on Twitter, TikTok, IG, and Hive, and of course here with WebsterStyle and Shawn Mongold at the NRW and at Release Wednesday, where nerds rule the world. This has been episode 2 of the KayFabeyBaby NRW Ring Generals podcast. Tune in next time for a new episode.
You come in my face, I'm gonna fight you.
Well, you're not gonna bust a nut anytime we're in the ring.
I'm gonna get off by cranking your knob just a little beyond the breaking point.
When I get my hands on you, I'm gonna eat your ass like a pot of collard greens, baby.
I'm gonna stretch his ass like it's never been stretched before.
You can hide behind that commissioner stuff just so long until I jerk a knot in your ass.
And if you don't think I'm big enough, then you grab a hold of me, and you'll know that I'm growing, my man. Within your hands, I will get as big as I need to be to do the job on you.
All right, just jerk Helmsley off.
There's one part of our bodies that's soft, and it ain't soft all the time, if you catch my meaning.
I'm gonna come on you like nobody's ever come on you before. Just you and I getting it on like two men should do.
Oh, no!
That fits right.
Boy, and I'm coming hard.